Good morning to everybody. We are once again on our Saturday morning session. So let us start the session with our normal prayer. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. In the last session we talked about consciousness. We discussed that it was the most subtle part of our existence, and we try to understand it from different point of view. We have something unknown, and we try to find the value of that unknown. In algebra you call it x, you give a name x, y, z, and you make a sort of equation and you try to find the value of x. So the same thing is in different forms we try to understand. Now these, what we call five koshas or five sheaths of the body, this is again a very profound science which is actually dealt with in an Upanishad called Taittiriya Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad is a very profound Upanishad. It has also a what we digesting the food, breaking the food in different elements, and then the body comes into form. So the food rearranged is the constitution of our body. It is called Annamaya Kosa. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that all the living beings are born of food. Similarly, here this Upanishad says that all the living beings are born of food. The outside body, the first layer of the body is made of food. Now let us understand this layer little bit more, what we did before, little bit beyond that. Now this physical body which we see around us, it has several properties. The first property is that it develops habits. Whatever you do every day, it turns into your habit. For example, somebody moves their hands every day, like when I talk, I move my hands. That becomes a habit. And this is not done out of something consciousness, it is just a habit. Similarly, some person have the habit of moving their feet while sitting. That becomes a habit. Similarly, some people develop a habit of taking a cigarette. That becomes a habit. So the habits are developed through repetitive action in the food kosha. It has nothing to do with the rest of the body. It is the food kosha which develops these habits. And then these habits turn into addiction when we keep repeating them again and again. Now, to keep this particular part of the kosha in good shape, there are various things which have been advised. Firstly, that you have to eat good quality fresh food. Don't eat food which is stale. Actually, in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has specified that the food you should eat, if you want what we call sattvic habits, then you should eat fresh food which is naturally tasty to your body. That is what he has said there. Then we have to do vrat and upvas to keep this body in good shape, to keep this kosha in good shape. You have to do periodically abstaining from food so that the body remains in good shape. Then similarly, the disposal of waste from this body is important, and so is the case of asanas or exercise. Some exercises are definitely required by the first kosa, that is the Annamaya kosa of the body, to keep this kosa in good shape. Because each of these koshas are like the layers of the human entity, and therefore each kosha should be in good shape. Now, there is a word called swasth. Swasth means healthy person. Now, this word is very significant. In Sanskrit, every word has a very profound meaning. Swasth means, swa means swa, st means sthit. The person who is established in itself is swasth. Now, swasth means that when you are healthy, you don't feel existence of your body or the body parts. You don't even feel that your legs exist, your hand exists. When you feel that your hand exists, it means there is either some pain or some problem with the hand. Then only you feel the existence. This is a very subtle observation. You will find it. Normally, you don't observe your body, you don't feel your body. You feel your body only when there's some problem somewhere. You don't feel that your forehead exists, but when there's a headache, you immediately feel it. So when you are swasth, means you are established in your own self. You do not feel your body. And that is a test. The test is that you should not feel your body. And if you don't feel your body is in good shape. The first kosha. I'm talking about Annamaya kosha. I'm not talking about the other koshas right now. So this kosha is the outer layer, but this is the layer which gives you lot of illnesses. This is the layer which can make you unhealthy, and therefore we have to keep this layer in good shape through good quality food, through proper exercises, through proper disposal of waste, through what you call abstaining food sometimes, and taking good rest. So this is uh, in general the Annamaya kosha. It has many properties which I would like to discuss a little bit. It has those properties in coordination with the second kosha, that is. So let us talk about the second kosha first, and then we will come back to both of them, how they operate together. The second kosha is called Pranamaya kosha. Pran is basically energy. Pran is vibration. When things move, that is vibration. In Chinese, they call it chi. In Japanese, they call it ka. It is basically uh, the energy or the force which moves the body in and out. Now, for example, we take acupuncture treatment. Now, acupuncture treatment is given on the energy sides of the body. They identify certain points where there is a flow of energy, and they put those needles on those sides so that the energy flow is reactivated. Similarly, homeopathy. The treatment of homeopathy is dependent on energy. It reactivates the energy channels into the body. In Prasnopanishad, there is quite a bit of description of the second kosha, Pranamaya kosha. It says that there are 72 million energy channels in the body. It starts with saying that there are 100 main nadis in the body. Each of those 100 are divided into 100 each. That makes 10,000. And those 10,000 are divided into 72,000 each. So it makes 72 million nadis. Nadi, actually, I don't have the English word for that. The nadi means the energy channels inside the body. They are spread over all, every significant part of the body. So this energy flows through these 72 million channels inside the body. Like sometimes some feel that particular part of the body is little insensitive, is not reacting. It means the energy channels there are not very active, and that is what the function of pranamaya kosha is. It supplies energy to the body. Now, how this channel works in coordination with annamaya kosha. Annamaya kosha and pranamaya kosha are very closely linked to each other. The food we eat, it goes inside the body and then it is digested through pranamaya kosha. Pranamaya Kosha has 5 layers which I mentioned before. That is the main pran, Saman pran, Apan pran, Vyan pran and Udan pran. Now the main pran is recharged through our nostrils. We keep taking this energy through the atmosphere around us all the time. That energy recharges all other energies inside the body. The second channel takes the Saman Pran, which takes the food and water and whatever we drink inside the body, and it breaks that food into different body parts. It turns into what you call blood and your flesh and your bones and your neurons and majja. Majja is some sort of thing which joins your bones with your flesh. So all these things are made from the food with the help of pranamaya kosha. Pranamaya kosha breaks the food and converts into body energy. This is the function of saman pran, the second pran which I talked about. The third pran is the apan pran, that is the disposal of the waste from the body. When you keep a dustbin in the house and you keep collecting garbage into it, and if you don't dispose it off, what will happen? It will become dirty, it will give a smell, and a lot of insects will germinate inside that dustbin. Same thing happens into human body. We have to dispose of the waste from the body, and there are 2 channels, in fact mainly 3 channels, but there are others as well. In fact there are 9 channels, but mainly 3 channels. The first is the disposal of our stool, second is disposal of our urine, and third is sweating through the body pores. These are the 3 main channels for disposal of our waste. But then we also dispose our waste through our eyes, through our ears, through our nostrils, through our mouth. So there are many other channels through which we dispose of waste, but these are the main ways. Now that disposal takes place with the help of apan pran, that pushes away all the toxins in the body, and apan pran acts on that. It works into the lower part of the body primarily for disposal of urine and disposal of stool. But this apan pran is also the life force behind sexual activities. The sexual organs of human being are energized by apan pran. So it works below the abdomen, but in that area. Then the fourth pran is called Vyan pran. Now Vyan pran is very important pran. It originates from our heart. The arteries of the heart take this pran away into all the cells of the body. This pran goes through 72 million energy channels into each and every particle of the body. The word Vyan means it is pervading everything. Vyan means pervading. Everything is pervaded by this pran. So that pran gives, the what you call, keeps our body in energetic, in form in which we can be aware of the rest of the world. So this pran is very, very important. Vyan pran, if sometimes people, they lose consciousness in a hand or a foot or in a finger, that means the Vyan pran in that part of the body is not operating properly. So that is the fourth one, and we discussed the fifth about Udan pran. We will discuss that at some other stage. We discussed this already in a limited way. So this is called pranamaya kosha. Now pranamaya kosha and annamaya kosha runs our body system. All the body parts, including our sense organs, are run through these 2 koshas. The operating part, the outside part, the part which is visible to the rest of the world, is made of these two koshas. The, the, the energy channels are extremely important, because all these energy channels make our body make function. All the biological functions, all the motor functions, they work on the basis of energy channels. Now, sometimes a question is asked to me. I have been asked this question on a few occasions, and maybe some of you might ask me again, that when you administer anesthesia on a person, what happens? He is alive, he is working in the normal, he is alive in the sense he is not working in the normal way, but he is alive. But he is not able to realize the pain which is caused in the body. He is not able to realize that somebody else is operating on him. Now, when this anesthesia is administered, it actually paralyzes temporarily your pranamaya kosha. The what you call chaitanya, the consciousness which goes into the body with the help of Vyan Pran, is not allowed to move. And that is how this anesthesia works on human body. It does not paralyze rest of the body. It paralyzes basically the energy channels into the body temporarily. And those are blocked, and therefore you become unconscious. You do not feel that your body exists. So you can realize the importance of pranamaya kosha. Without this kosha, you would be something like an anesthesia. That is the state of human body without this pranamaya kosha. But the food which we eat through, with the help of our annamaya kosha, that food is converted into energy with pranamaya kosha and pushed into every single particle. So these are the two first layers. The first layer of the onion, the second layer of the onion, they are operating in this way. Now the third layer of the onion is called manomaya kosha. Manomaya kosha, man is actually defined in different ways in different writings in ancient India. Some people call it man, buddhi and ahankar together, that is called man. Some people call man alone as man, buddhi alone as buddhi, and ahankar alone is alone. Here, manomaya kosha is primarily man alone, not buddhi, not ahankar. Basically, it is the mind which is the source of all the ideas, which is the source of all the imaginations, which is the source of memory, which is the source of what you call, the thought process into the body. So this is the main purpose of manomaya kosha, to regulate the mental body. It is called mental body. It is also called thought process. It is defined by these two, because all the thoughts you have, they originate from this kosha. This is the third layer. You have to take out the two layers to reach this layer. Now, the nervous system, the brain which we have, this operates with the help of manomaya kosha. Manomaya kosha takes help of brain and the nervous system to work on our thought process, to work on our imagination, our memory, and our mental body as a whole. And this particular kosha is very subtle in existence. It works on the basis of the energy which is generated through the pranamaya kosha with the help of the food you eat. It is said that 1/3 of the energy which is generated after the food is digested in the body goes to Manomaya Kosha. So you can imagine that this is very important part of the human sheath, human body. This Manomaya Kosha does not work 24 hours, 7 days a week. The Pranamaya Kosha and Annamaya Kosha, they work continuously 24 hours, 7 days a week. But Manomaya Kosha takes rest. During the deep sleep, it does not work. It restores itself during that time, reinvigorates itself during that time, and then it comes back when we are out of deep sleep. So during the time of deep sleep, this kosha takes rest, it does not work. While the blood circulation continues, your biological function continues, that continues with the help of your pranamaya kosha. That makes all the chemical functions inside the body, biological functions, circulatory functions, all those functions are controlled by pranamaya kosha. They are working continuously from the birth till death. But this particular kosha takes rest every day. During deep sleep, it does not work. Now, this mental body works on the basis of impressions gathered by the sense organs. Sense organs gather different impressions during the day. Daytime we keep talking, we keep seeing things, we keep working with people, we have different emotions in our body, and those emotions, those whatever activities you have performed, whatever you have seen, what you have heard, they keep accumulating into Manomaya Kosha. Manomaya Kosha is infinite in terms of its memory, in terms of its access. And all those impressions which are gathered, they keep operating inside the Manomaya Kosha. But only those impressions which are, reactivated again and again through your thought process, they come in the front. Rest of the impressions, they go and get deposited in your subconscious and subconscious mind, and they are like buried somewhere. As you put things in the storeroom, they are put into the storeroom. You can recall them whenever you feel, but they do not come on regular basis to your thought process. The things which come to your thought process are only those which you repeat all the time. Now, therefore, the sense impressions are extremely important. Sense impressions are important for human, for the functioning of human mind, for the health of mental body. The mental body will be healthy if you take good impressions inside. Good impressions means if you sit with good people, have nice conversations, pleasant conversations, if you see good pictures, if you see, for example, uh, natural green areas, if you see flowers, if you see a vast blue sky, if you see oceans, you see waves into the oceans, you see beautiful mountains, those are good impressions. You see walk through very clean, beautiful cities. Those good impressions give a different input to your Manomaya Kosha compared to the inputs. Sometimes you get violent inputs, you see violent films, you see all kinds of crime scenes everywhere. Then the Manomaya Kosha gets all those impressions and starts tendencies towards those those activities. Now, these impressions are, I think I mentioned it briefly, it's called vrati. Vrati means that they, like you put water somewhere on the ground, the flow of the water forms a sort of, leaves a mark. It's a like mark on the earth. And when you put next time the water goes onto the same mark. Third time it becomes deeper and it becomes like a small little drain. Fourth time it becomes a nala and then it becomes a river. So the vrati is formed through these impressions, and these vratis become pravarti, that is deep-rooted biases of human being when we continue to repeat them again and again. So this is how the sense impressions affect our mental thinking process. Our thinking process gets these pravartis uh, in early age of our life, and these pravartis can be altered, but it takes little bit thinking and time to alter them, but you can definitely alter them. So these pravartis are made through repetitive process created by our sense organs, but these are made into manomaya kosa, into the functioning of our mental body. So when somebody talks to you, like when I'm talking to you on manomaya kosha, your reaction to my thought will be based on those pravartis. Whenever you go and see anything outside, your reaction will be influenced by the pravartis which you have gathered over a period of time through repetitive action. And that is why people tend to react differently to different things. We can see the TV debates on various issues. You see how people differ so radically on the same issue. Because their tendencies have been developed in a different way over a period of time. Their thinking process uh, has been channelized in that way over a period of years, and that is very important. We must understand that. I think the changing of the life begins here. If you want to change your life, if you are very serious on that, then you have to start changing these mental impressions. And that is the significance of Manomaya Kosha. These mental impressions can be changed through different processes. Firstly, you have to have a very impartial inquiry. What I am thinking, why I am doing this. If you think that way, you will find an answer that why you are doing this. And that answer will open a gate for you to find more objective way of doing the same thing. You slowly, when you keep opening the door again and again, you become more and more objective. Your previous tendencies influence you less and less. This can be reduced over time. That is one way. The internal thinking. It's called manan in Sanskrit. That you have to do in your manomaya kosha. You keep thinking why I am reacting like this. Like somebody becomes angry when, in a particular situation. Immediately after that, he should come and sit down and think why I became angry, why I reacted this way. If he thinks that way, I think slowly the doors will open and you will realize that next time he will not be angry that often. It reduces, it goes down, and it completely diminishes, completely disappears after a while. This is also an example of my own life. I can tell you that there was times when I used to get angry on certain things, but slowly, I gave attention to them, why I became angry, what was the reason, why it happened, and then I analyzed them. And now the situation has come that I rarely become angry. So that is the situation. It can be improved that way. The second way to improve the mental body is the meditation, which we are doing these days. The meditation means you actually take away the thinking process from your mind. You replace it with a, what we call nirvichar, with thoughtlessness, and that gives way, that throws away all the tendencies which we have developed over the years. So this particular kosha is extremely important if we want to change our lives. Please give attention to this, listen to this carefully think about this for a day or two, how you can change your mental impressions which you have gathered over the years. You always analyze the truth and evil and lies, good, bad, in the context of what you have gathered. You have gathered certain tendencies, and these tendencies have become your pravartis over the years, and these pravartis define your definition of good, bad, evil, evil forces, or noble forces, or uh, anger, or whatever kind of emotion you have. All these are defined by this kosha. So we have to give attention to this Manomaya kosha every day, because the first two koshas take care of themselves. You don't do much about that. You do, for example, you can take care of your body properly through doing asanas, or you can do some exercise. For pranamaya kosha, you can do pranayam, you can re-energize your pranic energy, and the lungs can take deeper breath, and you can be fine. It's a very small little process, maybe half an hour every day. But for manomaya kosha, you need more time, because most of the time we live on manomaya kosha. We don't go beyond this. This is our factual life. Most, I would say 95% of the people are mostly on manomaya kosha. They don't go beyond that. The remaining two koshas are not even known to a lot of people. This will be possible to discover the other koshas only if we transcend this manomaya kosha. We have to think that this is not the end of my personality. What is your personality today? Oh, how I speak, how I talk, what I have learned, what I behave, how I interact with people, what is my relationship with. That is all confined up to manomaya kosha. Nothing beyond that. We may get some help, very little help from Vijnanamaya Kosha, but very limited help. Primarily, our whole daily life is confined to Manomaya Kosha in our state. I would ask you at the end of the talk today that analyze yourself. Think very dispassionately in a quiet corner of your room and find what you did today was only up to Manomaya Kosha. Because the mind keeps directing us all the time. Do this, don't do this, listen to this, see this film, don't see this film. We are not directing the mind. We have taken the mind as the supreme power which keeps directing us. I know a lot of people who tell me, मेरा तो मन कहता है ऐसे करूं, मेरा मन कहता है ये खाऊं, मेरा मन कहता है ये सुनूं, मेरा मन कहता है मैं बाहर जाऊं. ये मन कहता है means you are accepting mind as your boss. And that is what happens to each one of us. मन कहता है ऐसे करो, मन कहता है ये करो, ये खाओ, ये पियो, इसको देखो, इसको सुनो. वो मन का कहना जो है उसके बाहर हमें जाना पड़ेगा. And then we can really change our lives. So I wanted to concentrate more on Manomaya Kosha today, because this is the foundation of transforming our lives. If anybody is serious to transform the life, he can do so by concentrating on mental body every day for 10 minutes in the evening. Sit down every day for 10 minutes quietly and think what all you did was done under the direct control of your mind. And you will find that 99% things were done under the direct control of your mind. And then you will realize how I can transcend this process and go beyond that. So I think this is extremely important part, and I would like to stop here today. And we will have a few question answers on this issue, because the first two kosas are more biological. This is more our personality related kosa. And this is the kosha which guides our day-to-day life, and therefore I think we need to understand it slightly deeper in a way that can transform our personality in the future. So thank you very much.